Hey there, everyone. Happy Friday. Coffee Talk with Dr. Kelly Ray. I want to check in on you. Maybe I should start with how you doing. Let's start it off that way, all right? Today's my favorite day of the week, and so I just am so excited that I get to share it with you. But I want to know how you're doing. First and foremost, I want to know how you're doing. So many of us, put on a good front or, convince ourselves that we need to be okay, that we need to just push through, or that we need to, suck it up, buttercup, and get through. Which is fine for the moment, but sometimes that way of being can be harmful, quite honestly. And how so? Because we tend to ignore our needs. We tend to ignore our feelings. We tend to ignore those things that we should be paying attention to, but we're masking them with being, hey, I need to be tough. Hey, I need to power through. There's moments where that's really viable. Let's say, for instance, you're an athlete, and let's say you're a runner, and you've been training and all this time, and now it's race day, and it's time for you to run. Yes, you're going to convince yourself, because you've done all of the prep work up to that point, to just power through, to just push through, so you can see how far you can push yourself to finish your race. Look, this pandemic that we're in right now it's not a race. And if it is a race, it's certainly a race that none of us have ever done before. We've not been training for it, quite honestly. That's not been the thing that's been in our mind. What's been in our mind is, working, creating a career, creating financial stability, creating a home, creating a family. There's so many things that we've been creating that we haven't been creating. How do we navigate through a pandemic? How do we navigate through shelter in place? How do we navigate that we're being triggered by what's going on and not liking it? So we having a temper tantrum and being mad and pointing the finger and frustrated and bored and a lot of things. I want to know what you're doing to actually look at those emotions, look at those triggers that are coming up for you, and what you're doing about it. Are you doing an old pattern of, I'm just going to stuff it down and, tell myself, get over it and move on through? Am I going to reach for old behaviors? Am I going to go, reach for food or alcohol or drugs or, go excessively shopping, online now since we can't go to the stores? I don't know about all you, but I have not reached that level yet that I want to go do my clothing shopping at Walmart or Target. Now, don't get me wrong. I've bought clothes from Walmart and Target before, but it's just not my go-to places. And quite honestly, I haven't reached that point in this shelter in place that I'm like, damn it, you know what? I'm switching my brand. I'm going to be going all Walmart now or all Target. So I want to know if any of you reach that level. I want to know how you're doing. And I mean that honestly, because I think there's quite a few of us that are kind of ignoring how we're really feeling because we think that we should be feeling a certain way, or we think we should be putting on a certain front for our family and that. And quite honestly, I don't know how much that helps, especially with kids. How are we teaching our kids to express their feelings? How are we giving them space to be able to process what they might be feeling? Or are they just learning to stuff it down or go be busy somewhere else, go get distracted so you don't have to pay attention to the noise and the confusion and the sadness and all of that could be happening in your head right now? I know for even as parents, I can speak for myself, and I've had these real, raw, honest conversations with my own daughter, who's a teenager, that some days I don't feel on my game, that I'm struggling with trying to figure all of this out too. And there's some days where I feel like I'm just like, yeah, I got it. And that I feel like I'm like that most days. And then there's days where I wish that I could do more. I wish that I could just do more to help others that are going through this. And there has even been moments along this journey where I've kind of felt a little just snippets of guilt because I feel so amazing. I'm so loving this time period. There's so much that I've been able to cultivate that I would have never taken the time to do because I would have found lots of reasons to not have time. Which is, I want to also talk to you too about what is your plan for when we get out of this? Because we are going to get out of this. We won't stay like this forever. Even in your lowest moments in life, if you look back, you did not stay in them forever. They may have taken time. You may have fallen down along the way of trying to get up and move forward, but you didn't stay there. So I want you to remind yourself that we are going to progress forward. We are going to come out of this. What are you doing to prepare yourself for that? Do you just want to go back to your old way of life and in its entirety? Were you completely happy with your job? And I know some might say, no, but at least it afforded me a living. But were you really living? I know as humans, we can get really caught up in complaining. I was going to say bitching and moaning, which I just did. But it can seem that way. And a lot of times we're doing it from a place of behavioral patterning, things that we do every day that we don't even think about. Just like how you drive to work or drive to school, a lot of times you take the same route or, maybe a little bit variance, but nonetheless, you could probably drive to those places with your eyes closed because you've done it so much that now it's just a habit, a pattern. You're not even seeing it. Which is why we don't see the accidents when they come along, when people just kind of plow through things, because people are an automatic pilot. Do you want to go back to your automatic pilot life before this pandemic in its entirety? Yes, there might be aspects of it that you would like to go back to. Maybe it's seeing family and friends. Maybe it's doing gatherings where you go to the local coffee shop and hang out with friends or get together and have barbecues and all of those things. And I get that. Or hang out in each other's houses and watch movies. But what about other aspects of your past? Are you even looking at those things so that you can shift them, so you can change them, so you can do them differently moving forward? Or are you just focused on the door that's closed? The door that when we look through that door that has a little peephole window, what we're seeing through that peephole window is those things that we long for, those things that we remembered as being great and we don't have it now. We're not seeing the whole big picture of the past, of things that really weren't working for us. We really didn't like, whether it be you were not happy with the way your house looked, but, you distracted yourself by doing other things rather than paying attention to that. You put up with relationships, whether they're friendships or intimate relationships or whatever, for the sake of it was somebody in your life and, we get through it. I don't know that those are sustaining. And I have to wonder how you move forward from that. And are you doing the work to do that? This is a very amazing time, a gift we've been given to work through those things rather than just stuff them down or to ignore them or to push them aside. Because what happens is then we tend to get bored in this time period that we have right now. We tend to feel lonely. We tend to feel isolated because we're not doing anything different. We're just sitting in the resonance of that energy of boredom or sadness or loneliness or anger. So then let's go look for all the evidence that points in that direction to justify why I feel what I feel. It's so easy for us to see this in other people. It's so challenging to see it in ourselves. And one of the ways that we avoid seeing those things in ourselves is we get distracted. We binge watch on Netflix, Amazon, movie after movie after movie, and then at the end of the day we've not done anything productive, we've not done anything to work on helping our mindset, and then we feel fatigued, we feel bored, we feel sad, we feel whatever. And certainly depending on what movies and shows that you're watching on TV or these various platforms where you can see movies and stuff, says a lot about where you're at too, because they can really even trigger you more. Maybe you're finding yourself watching those romantic movies and how they all start out and they end up as a fairy tale and glorious, and you're not in a relationship. So these movies can trigger you, even they might be fun comedies, fun romantic comedies, but they could trigger a part of you that feels lonely and wanting a relationship. And then turning around and saying you can't have one because we're in this pandemic. Where could you go work on not attracting another partner like your last one that may have not been healthy? This is a beautiful time to be really working on you. I know for myself, it required me, in order for me to get out of my own way, get out of my own self-sabotaging ways, to get out of my feelings of feeling like I wasn't good enough, feeling like I wasn't smart enough, feeling I wasn't beautiful enough or desirable enough, or that I had the ability to have a great life. I had to get out of my way, and I couldn't do it myself. And I know that sounds crazy. You think, I read all the books, I've taken all of these classes, I've, watched lots of videos, I listened to all these podcasts, and I got snippets of information that resonated with me and said, oh yeah, that's great. Yes, I can do that. But they were short-lived because I hadn't learned how to understand the languaging of my inner critic. I hadn't learned their dialogue. I hadn't learned their patterning. I hadn't learned how to shut that off. I hadn't learned how to work with it as opposed to working against it. So honestly, I want to know how you're doing. I want to know if you're willing to reach out and ask for support. I want to know if you're willing to ask for help. This is a great time to do that. And what a great opportunity to give yourself to learn how to tame this rascal. There's so many ways to do it. There's so many different modalities out there. There's so many different people teaching it in various ways. I would suggest that you be willing to invest in yourself by finding somebody who gets you. Somebody who you think can help you get this dialed in so that when the doors for this pandemic open, you're moving in the direction that you want to go. You're already ready. You're already geared up. You're already conditioned. Just like I talked earlier about being a runner who's going to do a race. They conditioned themselves. They trained. They did things to prep them for race day so that when that gun got fired and it's time to go, they weren't taking a step for the first time. They weren't putting on their shoes for the first time. No, they had already dialed that in. This is a beautiful opportunity that you're given right now to do that very thing for yourself. To get this thing dialed in, to get this critic here that has so much to say to you, to give you an opportunity that when this pandemic opens up and when we're able to go out into a new paradigm, perhaps a new way of living, you're ready. You're all conditioned. You're ready and you're excited and you've already taken action towards that. Look, I know that there's many that will do nothing different at all as a result of this time, other than complain, point the finger. I know that they won't change one thing in their life. And they'll be the same people that when you and I are out there living amazing, vibrant lives and feeling just incredible about ourselves and the choices that we're making for ourselves and our family, they'll still be the ones sitting on the couch, pointing the finger, bitching and complaining about how this isn't working for them, how life sucks, how the government is screwing them, and blah, blah, blah. I know that's not you. I know that. You just may need a little bit of support to help from getting this rascal right here, from getting you, so that you don't slip into those patterns. You don't slip into the old behaviors of maybe not feeling good enough, maybe feeling not visible, maybe feeling angry at the slightest things, but you don't know how to stop it. Maybe from getting you from attracting another partner who's not going to partner with you. If that's you, then I'd love to have a conversation with you. It just takes you getting in touch with me. No worries, no pressure. That's it. It just takes a simple click. Hey, Kelly Ray, just wanted to reach out. That's it. So I want to end this little talk, if you're still here with me. Friday, as most of you know, is my favorite day of the week. It's just, I always hashtag it Fun Friday. If you're looking for something funny, if you're looking for a little pick-me-up, if you're looking for a little chuckle, I'm going to encourage you to go out to my business page, Strength and Sensitivity, here on Facebook. Every Friday, I hashtag funny memes with the hashtag Fun Friday. So you can even just go into that page, go to the search and look up hashtag Fun Friday and just allow yourself to laugh. Allow yourself to have a chuckle. Yes, laughing and chuckling are maybe not going to change what's happening right now, but it's going to change what's happening in here. It's going to change what happens to your physiology. It's going to change what happens to this inner critic. It's going to change how you see the rest of just today. Please know I send you so much love.